You know that one person who's still rocking a phone from 2018? The screen's cracked, the battery dies by noon, but they refuse to upgrade. They just keep using it, day after day, no matter how many times you suggest getting a new one. But here's the question: why? Is it about money, about not caring, or maybe something much deeper about how they see the world? And here's what's even more fascinating. The reason someone clings to an old phone can reveal their entire relationship with change, identity, and control. Stick with me until the end, because what you'll discover might even explain your own resistance to upgrading things in your life. For some, it's about attachment. And I mean deep emotional attachment. Imagine this. You're holding your phone, the same one you had during your college graduation, the same one that captured your first trip abroad. Every scratch tells a story. Every dent is a memory. Now here's what happens next. Someone hands you a brand new phone. Shiny, fast, perfect. But it feels wrong, empty, like betraying an old friend. This is called object permanence attachment. It's the psychological bond we form with items tied to significant life events. Your phone isn't just a device. It's a time capsule, a physical anchor to who you were. And here's where it gets tricky. Letting go of the phone feels like letting go of those moments. Does that mean you're stuck in the past? Of course not. But what does it mean? It means you value continuity. You value the tangible connection to your history. And honestly, that's not weakness. That's emotional depth. Then there are those who see upgrading as feeding a system they reject. These people aren't attached to their phone. They're making a statement. Picture this scenario. You're sitting in a coffee shop. Everyone around you is scrolling on the latest model. Identical devices, identical cases. You pull out your beaten-up phone from 5 years ago, and you feel different, separate, authentic. This taps into self-determination theory and counter-consumerism identity. It's not about the phone being old. It's about what not upgrading represents. Resistance, independence, a refusal to participate in planned obsolescence. Here's the most interesting part. Every time someone comments on your old phone, it reinforces your identity. You're not the person who follows trends. You're the person who thinks differently. And that distinction, it becomes part of who you are. The phone is proof of your values, living evidence that you're not controlled by marketing or peer pressure. We also see people paralyzed by choice. And this one's fascinating. Imagine you finally decide to upgrade. You open a website. 15 models, 32 configurations, hundreds of reviews. Your chest tightens. You close the tab. You'll decide tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. And suddenly, it's been 2 years. This is decision fatigue mixed with analysis, paralysis. Your brain treats the phone decision like a life-altering choice. Because what if you pick wrong? What if there's a better model next month? What if you regret spending that much money? So your mind does something clever. It avoids the decision entirely by keeping the status quo. Think about that for a second. Your old phone isn't a choice anymore. It's the absence of having to choose. And here's where most people get it wrong. They think this is about being indecisive. But it's actually about anxiety management. Keeping the old phone eliminates uncertainty. It removes the risk of regret. Does it solve the problem? No, but it removes the mental load of solving it. Another group experiences loss aversion on a deep level. Not just about money, about everything the upgrade represents. Let's walk through this. You buy a new phone. You spend hours transferring data, setting up apps, learning new gestures. Your muscle memory is all wrong. The camera opens differently. The settings are in new places. You feel incompetent, like a beginner again. And that feeling, it's unbearable. This connects to competence theory and cognitive fluency. You've mastered your current phone, you know every shortcut, every quirk, every workaround. That expertise, it makes you feel capable. Now here's what happens with a new phone. Okay? You lose that competence. You become the person asking for help, the person who can't figure out basic features. And for many people, that loss of mastery feels worse than dealing with a dying battery. But here's the thing. This isn't about being stubborn. It's about protecting your sense of capability. Your old phone is proof you're competent. A new phone makes you prove it all over again. And finally, there are those who simply don't notice, not because they're careless, but because their attention lives elsewhere. Imagine your phone dies at 30% battery. Does it bother you? Barely. You're too busy thinking about your project, your relationship, your goals. The phone is a tool, nothing more. When it stops working completely, then you'll deal with it, but not before. This reveals present moment prioritization and selective attention. These people aren't avoiding the upgrade. They genuinely don't care enough to think about it. Their mental energy flows toward things that matter more to them. And you know what? That's actually a form of clarity. They've decided, unconsciously or consciously, that phone specs don't deserve their focus. Does that make them careless? No. It makes them selective. They're protecting their attention for what they value. The phone works well enough. That's sufficient. Moving on. So whether you're holding on to an old phone for emotional reasons, making a statement about consumerism, or simply haven't gotten around to upgrading, each reveals something true about you. For some, it's about honoring your past and the memories tied to physical objects. That's depth of feeling. For others, it's about maintaining independence in a world that constantly pushes consumption. That's integrity. For many, it's about avoiding the anxiety of decisions or the discomfort of relearning. That's self-protection. And for some, it's about keeping your focus on what genuinely matters. That's wisdom. And you know what? None of these are wrong. They're just different ways of moving through the world, different priorities, different values, different relationships with change and control. The real question is, which one are you? Do you feel a pull toward the familiar even when the new makes logical sense? Have you noticed yourself resisting upgrades in other areas of your life? What does that say about how you see the world and your place in it? If this made you think differently about something as simple as phone upgrades, you'll absolutely love the other psychology topics we cover here. All backed by real psychology. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Leave a comment with your thoughts and tell me honestly, how old is your current phone and what's really stopping you from upgrading? And let us know what video you want next. Your suggestions literally shape this channel.